सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। महायोगी स्वामी उमानंद सरस्वती की जय। Today is Sankrant, an auspicious day for new beginnings. Let us study Ved. Yes, friends, I'm going to try and pass on my understandings of Ved to people. In Ved, we talk about the first 5 elements, Panch Mahabhut, which dwell together in a mortal so that mankind survives. They are controversial to each other, yet they live in a mortal form so that mankind at large survives. We need to learn from these 5 elements how to live together on earth. Vedas, especially Rig Veda, talks about the gods and the family of the god. Yajurveda talks about the mortal and his deeds. Samved is a little summary of Rig Veda, and Atharva Veda deals with various subjects. We'll come to it gradually. But right now, we are going to talk about Rig Veda. There are totally 10,000 couplets. And I'm going to try and put forth the study of 1,000 couplets at a time. So let us see if I can contribute to 10 videos on Rig Veda, each video having 1,000 couplets and its thought. In short, when I read these 1,000 couplets, I realized that out of 33 gods in Rig Veda, almost 28 gods are covered in the first 1,000 couplets. I was just wondering, I was contemplating and talking to my Sadguru within me. I said, Gurudev, what is the main message given by Rig Veda? So the inner voice told me, what is the message given in Bhagavad Gita? So the first thought came to me was Karma Yoga. So the inner voice of my Gurudev said, well, it is Karma Yoga also. The same message is there in Rig Veda. And suddenly, like a flash, these thoughts started coming to me. In those the 28 gods, I decided to put them in order. As per the hymns, I took down the names of the gods in order. These gods, just few I'll mention here: Agni, Vayu, Indra, Mitra, Varun, Ashwini Dev, and so on. I classified them, I put them in columns. And I just decided to find out what exactly do these gods do for mankind. Because now my thought was Karma Yoga. So, if gods are preaching Karma Yoga to mankind, they must be practicing it, of course. I don't want to question this. I want to look upon them with all total reverence. But I wanted to understand what exactly are these gods being worshipped for. So I just noted them down in columns, and then I started taking down from the rituals the activities or the deeds being done by the gods. I took down the first one, Agni, and right now simultaneously I am also studying, translating Atharva Ved. So there are some charts in Atharva Ved which gave me an idea. The charts have got some explanations about these gods which are very useful. These gods, immortal, if they dwell in mortal in their best form or in their benevolent form, then what does man benefit? So I realized it. If Agni decides to bless a mortal, the first quality which emerges in the mortal is speech, Vani. So Agni is the god who can make you a great orator in the world. He is being given a job to make a mortal be an orator and contribute to the world the knowledge which God wants to impart to mankind. Friends, it's a huge job. We just hear in Rigveda about the Agni kindled in Yajna. But let us understand what is the actual function of Agni Dev. We are going to talk about all the gods. But I was so happy, I jotted down the points. Some of them were from Yajurveda, some of them were from Atharva Ved. And then I realized let me just jot them down. So I jotted down some of the duties which Agni has taken upon himself. Agni Dev has taken upon himself to serve, to help mankind. First thing is, he makes you a good orator. Yes. Imagine you can understand if it is oratory, it is knowledge related. So, the second very beautiful contribution of Agni is he helps you find a right partner. Normally, marriages here in India are conducted, marriages are taken place. It is so said when Agni, God Agni, is present on earth. Now Agni is the God who is going to help you to find a right partner. It is related to light, to intelligence, to understanding, to awareness. Let's see. Then he brings gods to the disciples. Now he invokes all the gods and tells them to come down for yajna performed. Yes, so he is like a messenger. Agni is like a messenger. So we have messenger on the earth in the form of Agni. His smoke also is used to send signals. Yes, we understand the importance of Agni as messenger. Two beautiful stories go with Agni, God Agni. One is the story of sage Angira. He's supposed to be the first birth of Agni. Agni, before being born as God Agni, he was said to be Angira. Sage Angira was practicing austerities. He practiced it so strongly, so persuasively, persistently, that his radiance started growing so much that Agni Dev stepped down and asked him. He said, "You are more radiant than I am." For a god to say this to a mortal, he said to the mortal sage Angira that you are more radiant than I am. You are more brighter, more blazing than I am. Would you like to take my place? So Angira said, "No, sir. You are God. You do your work and allow me to do my austerities." But he said, "I have a request for you. He said, when a mortal dies on earth, and of course the cremation is done, take his soul to heavens. So can you imagine? God Agni Dev is given a job to do. He can make you an orator. He can find you a partner. He can take your soul to heaven on cremation. Now, he is also supposed to be giving you knowledge of fluids, because Angira Rishi was said to be a person who had the understanding of the fluids in the mortal body. Now, Agni created sound and light and space. That the work which Agni Dev had undertaken for himself in the interest of mankind is, he gives a success to the noble people. He protects yajna. He educates ignorant. He shows them right path. He provides good thoughts. He inspires right acts. He brings gods. He gives godliness to a person and gives knowledge of spirit and matter. Now these are the functions which the God Agni Dev is performing for mankind. And I must bring it to your notice that they are all free of cost. We don't pay. Do you pay any money to Agni Dev? No, we don't. None of us. None of us. And from thousands of years, the work is going on. Friends, this is Karma Yoga. This is Karma Yoga which is undertaken by gods. Later it is preached to the mankind, but first it is practiced by gods. Then you have the second god is Vayu, air. Now all the air which is surrounding mortal, in the mortal body, dwells as breath. Can you imagine a life without breath? It's a very beautiful thought given in Yajurveda, that pran accompanies you until your last. And of course, it's logical, but it's poetically put, that pran is the only friend who accompanies you until the last. Yes. So we know the significance of Agni and then Vayu. Then we go to Indra. Indra is supposed to be giving us an alert mind, a very alert mind. Friends, he is invoked, God Indra is invoked for valor, for protection. He is supposed to give us the divine Brahmapad, that is the status of, or liberation, let's call it. Then he was a performer. He himself performed 100 yajnas. Friends, all these gods are practicing certain action, deeds, karma. And they are doing so that we follow them. They are not just preaching karma yoga, they are practicing it themselves. He is supposed to be destroying the demons, giving us siddhis. It is Indra who made water possible for mankind, mortal on earth. Because it is so said that earlier the waters were being blocked by the Asurs during his time. There were many demonic people who refused to let the waters flow down from the mountains to the mortal plateau. And it was Indra who went and destroyed almost 99 cities of Asur to see that mortal survives and gets the water. He's made the rivers flow. It is said that once Vishwamitra, another great sage, when he talked to the rivers, he said, I am a devotee of Indra, and Indra has made flowing easy for you. So you have to make way for me when I go by flowing gently so that I can cross the rivers. Friends, they are working in the interest of mankind. Once Angira Rishi also, one of the sages, told 4 of his sons that if you cook food at home, see that you share it with people around you. Who are the 4 types of people? The animal world, who is domesticated animals in the house. Then it is the working class who works for you. It is an unexpected guest who comes to you. See that he is served food. And 4th, then your own family, of course. And when the 4 sons did so, Agnidev appeared and said, since you have made good use of me, now I shall not leave earth. Friends, these gods are doing great service to mankind. Let us appreciate it. At least let us thank them once in a way. Or let us at least work. Just as they are trying to help mortal mankind, let us also help the mortal mankind. Let us also help the people who depend upon us in this world. The next, about Indra, again, one more thing is his Vajra. It's supposed to be a strong weapon used by him to kill all the Asur, the evil people. And he lived for saving mortal mankind. These gods have helped us to survive. Agni is trying to help us to survive. Unfortunately, now with these forest fires, someone should try and start, burning the lamp with a wick and with a little butter and soothe the God himself. Probably it may bring this forest fire under control. Let's hope some of you hear it and practice it. Then you have the Mitra. Mitra that is sun. He is supposed to help us to have a good eyesight, good vision. So very important for us. Very important for us. He is placed at a height so that he can reach out to everybody. How beautifully world is arranged, managed. You can. I was asked by Dr. Karat from MIT that I should be able to present Vedas with the objective of management studies. Yes, this management is superb. We don't have to change. We have not changed the sun for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. We are not short of breathing. There is air available. There is water available. There is space available. 1/3 of the world is still unoccupied. It's not that we lack space. And God has very beautifully arranged. The creation and dissolution go on simultaneously. That's the best administration. So that there is place made for the new, and the old slowly perishes. The growing part is called Brahma. The reducing part is called Maya. Both have to exist. There is life growing on the world, on the earth, and there is simultaneously life perishing on the earth. So unless this is not done, we will not be able to manage. Already sometimes we worry about the population. But yet, still, as long as there is every child born, we should know that God wants us to continue living. Then you have the Varun, God of rains. He is supposed to bring strength to our mind. Probably if you go out and see the people who, enjoy rains, they look at the rivers and the falls, Niagara Falls, my God. 2,000 tons of water is daily being pouring down. Can you imagine the beauty of the flowing rivers? The Varun is supposed to give us a righteous path. We are supposed to be, your mind is supposed to then choose what is right, and that is supposed to be with the blessing of Varun. He keeps the sun in space, supportless, and there are thousands of medicines there in water. It is also rich with medicines. So it keeps diseases away. It gives you long life. He knows the world of birds, the path of birds. There are so many jobs undertaken by these gods, and all is done in the interest of welfare of mankind. Friends, this is the only way we can understand the significance of Karma Yoga. All the gods are doing their jobs well. None of them, not even a day does the sun rest from. He does not say, tomorrow I'm not going to rise. The air does not say that I'm not going to flow. The sky is still there all the time, sheltering the waters on earth. The sun stores the excess water in its rays so that it doesn't get wasted and brings it down in the form of rains. And all these gods, and their deeds, their actions, their works, they are doing for us. Then we have the Ashwini, they dwell in human body in the form of breath, incoming and outgoing. What a masterpiece creation the world is, mankind is, mortal is. Someone too supreme in every sense has done this. The other day I was just wondering how many ministries we have. We have 33 ministries. There are 33 gods in Rigveda. All those gods are doing certain jobs. These ministries are also doing certain functions for mortal. Just that on the mortal world, probably corruption takes over. And the immortal world, there is no corruption. Anyway, we'll proceed on to the Vishwadev. The gods, this is now the 8th, 9th god I'm talking about. The Vishwadev are all gods. What do they give mortal? Wealth. Wealth. And mostly, what is the most beautiful thing about Vishwadev is all gods, they only practice truth and honesty. I just now said, we also serve the mortals. We mortals also serve the mortal world, but we may end up with corruption, dishonesty. Whereas the Vishwadev, they are following their call. They are supposed to be truthful in every manner. And they give wealth to us. We try to take the wealth for ourselves. The gods give the wealth to us. Yes, they are all the time giving to the world, and we don't pay them. None of us pay not a penny to these gods. Remember, please, the mantras are, or the praises are the only way which we can express to thank them. Then you have Saraswati goddess. She's supposed to impart knowledge. Can we live without knowledge? No. Even the knowledge which is not in the form got from books, the internal knowledge, like we are hungry, we are thirsty. Who's going to tell us? Nobody needs to tell us when we are hungry, we are thirsty, we are sleepy, we are drowsy, we are not well, we are sick. We understand it ourselves. This is the tacit knowledge. These are the way we gain knowledge. We want to know more. Why is the world so luminous? Why are the stars luminous? Because we are given the knowledge which is curious, the curiosity. All this is given to us free of cost. Our curiosity is free of cost. Our ability to acquire knowledge is free of cost. We've got brains. We've got thirst for knowledge. All right, we have then the Marut. These are the sons of Rudra. Marut are strong winds. They are supposed to be the sons of Rudra. What do they give us? Bravery, full of virtues. They're like organized armies. Beautiful, beautiful. They are depicting a clear picture by themselves. They are like designing the mortal world, how it should be. Yes, we should have a department working in the interest of fire, Agni, then water, then air, then space, the pollution part, the curing part, the medicinal part. Everywhere, humanity, there's a picture given. Rigveda gives you an entire picture of how the mortal world should be designed. Yes, it is a design, it's a blueprint. All these gods form the blueprint. Then you have the organized army. Then these are, they destabilize the enemy. Marut, they are courageous. They make life sin-free. So there are so many jobs taken up by these gods. They can uproot the earth, but they don't. As I told you, they are all trying to help mankind, mortal, to survive. They travel by the speed of mind, and they look upon the earth as mother. We also should look upon the earth as mother. Not only India is our motherland, but the entire earth is mother to a mortal world. Friends, we are all actually, if all of us look upon the earth as mother, we'll be like siblings. whatever religion and caste you belong to. Then you have the motherland, she gives you safe dwelling. You have the mother tongue. Now they are coming amongst gods. There are a few more I want to mention is Brihaspati. Because of Brihaspati, we tend to pursue knowledge because they impart knowledge. Yes, we need this. Knowledge is an entire manifestation, is nothing but knowledge itself. But for us to understand how things work, what do the planets give? What are the forces of the planetary forces on man? How does the nature benefit us? How does the ocean, imagine ocean and seas? I wouldn't like to say it, but food, fish. We should not be doing it, but yes, just as fruits on trees, just as crops on earth, this is all just given to us. That itself is giving you the idea of karma yoga. All these gods are working for mortal. We mortal need to work. Pushan, another god, son, he is supposed to be leading our soul after our death to a proper place in heaven. Can you imagine? It is guiding the soul to the other world. Yes, we have about 10-15 friends on earth who can help us now and then. But do you know, once we need to go, it is a destiny. We need to go into the unseen world. Who's going to be there to help us? Yes, there is some god called Pushan. So find a friend in this world. He punishes the sinner, but he takes the noble one to prosperity. He takes them to a better world. Then you have Rubhu, the horse trainer. Can you imagine? These were the horse trainers, the cow trainers. They made their ways into amongst godly people because they were of great use to gods also. Then you have Twashta, the creators, the architect of gods. Then you have so many gods are mentioned, and each god is doing some work religiously, persistently for thousands and thousands of years. Rigveda gives you a blueprint of karma yoga for the humanity. Friends, we all need to work. We all have to, whatever work you are doing, right now you may be earning for yourself. Yes, but include, you are earning for your family. Yes, why not? You are earning for your family. Yajurveda tells, be prosperous. Earn as much as you can, but contribute your share to the world. Contribute your share to the world. If the sun would have kept the light for himself, or just given to the people who are good and not bad, and he wouldn't have given to the tiger, the lion. He doesn't do that. The water doesn't do that. The air doesn't do that. Friends, let us all hold hands together. This is our world, mortal world. God is trying to save it every day. Please, let us also save the mortal world. Let's be together. Let's work together. We cannot, all of us have to contribute. Yes, if we need a table, we need a tree, we need a carpenter. You see how we are connected. We need these things. We need each other. The mortal world is dependent on mortal itself. Let us come together. Let us save the world. This is the message of 1000 couplets from Rigveda. And there are many more gods to cover. I'll go by it slowly. I forgot to tell you the Ashwini gods who live in us in the form of incoming and outgoing breath. They cure us of the three dosh, Kapha, Pitta and Vata. That is cough, acidity and gas. These are the three. There are all these works are being done by all these gods. They are encouraging you to keep working like them, because that is how you can save the world. They are actually, Rigveda is a blueprint for the world to follow. We've got to follow the Rigveda pattern by contributing our share of work to the world. This is Swami Radhikananda from Pune. We will be going to another 1,000 next month. Thank you.